Welcome to my practice. I was very pleasantly surprised to see that people actually watched the video that I did yesterday. That's cool. So I'm going to try to make each one a little bit different. You're welcome to skip around. I put timestamps in so you can just listen to the exercises if that's what's useful for you. I also, in this series, am going to be presenting a lot of insights as to how to improve different kinds of skills. Yesterday's video, there were some things that I noticed and I'm going to address them and work on them. You might also notice that today I'm working on a flugelhorn. In my practice, I alternate between trumpet and flugelhorn based on the day, just because I see them as equals and they're very different instruments. So I like to make sure that my flugelhorn sound is exactly what I want it to be. So I play it as much as I play the trumpet. Right now I'm working from the first studies section of Arban's. I'm taking it much faster than what it says. It's marked as quarter note equals 76 to 132. I'm doing something like 4 times as fast as that. At my level, it's important to train my eyes to just keep looking forward, and that's what I'm working on right now, as well as making sure that I'm catching all the crescendos, playing each note stylistically the same or as marked, and playing each note accurately. So let's do 17. I've read through 17 a couple times, and I've noticed that there are a couple of note patterns in the last line, the last few measures, that are not what I think they should be. So I'm going to take those a little bit more slowly. I think I'm going to start 5 before the end. Okay, that worked slowly. Let's take it a little faster. I'm expecting it to go dun 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 dun, but actually it's written dun 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 dun. It goes higher, and usually I see that pattern dun dun go down to the C, but my face is doing that, but it should be up to the G. So let's try that. Let's isolate that. Okay, now let's put last 4 measures together. Okay, now let's put the whole thing together. Everything else was in pretty solid shape, so let's try it. Alright, I just played it through and it still didn't happen, so what I'm going to do is not on film because I don't want to bore you. I'm going to just play the last line a bunch of times. You won't see it. That sounds a lot like 16. The difference is that it's in a different key. The next one, 18, is going to sound very similar, but this one is in G major. Previous one was in C, and the one before that was in F. So now I got an F sharp to think about, and I go a little higher into high G. Played it once. It wasn't bad. There are just a couple of things that didn't quite speak the way I expected them to speak. So I'm going to do it one more time. I think it should be pretty good here. Let's see if it is good. So I played this a couple times. It's not hanging me up in the way that the previous one was. There's just a couple places that caught me by surprise. So hopefully this is the time. Not bad. Okay. And I think the last one in this series, or this tempo, this grouping or whatever, is number 19. And it's a little different. Yay, interesting for you. So I played this maybe 4 times, and there's one place that really kind of gets me, and it is a leap between the low E and the high F, which is kind of a weird leap to hear. It's kind of a weird one. It's like an octave plus a half step. So I just have to make sure that's in my ear and that I expect it when I see it. So let's try it again. But I'm going to let that be for today. I think that will conclude the first studies section of my practice today. Moving on. Because this book is super thick, I use a chip clip to keep my pages open. I also use a paper clip to mark where I am so that I can just turn to the right page when it's time to practice again. What? My Chromebook appeared right next to me? Why would I need that? I noticed that yesterday in my practice, some of my 16th notes were not even. And while that can be okay in some situations, if I want to be a very accurate player, I should really work on that. The best tool for working on even 16th notes is obviously a metronome. However, I do not have one. I think I lost it somewhere. It's in the abyss. I don't know what happened to it. I have one on my phone, but my phone is right there. So what do? I go on Google and I type in metronome, and look, there it is. I can set my beats per minute. I believe that I was on exercise 4. The suggested tempo is 64 to 124, so I'm going to go somewhere in between there, maybe 84. I'm going to put it on earphones so you don't have to hear the click track. So I practiced that one a couple times. I'm going to take a little break because my first valve was getting slow, so I'm going to oil that. I was actually a clarinet performance major, and I was really used to playing these passages where I just have tons of 16th notes like dia ta ta dia ta ta dia ta ta dia ta. And when you have a pattern of 16th notes that has slur 2 and tongue 2, the general suggestion is that you stress the first one. You make it a little bit longer so it can kind of sort itself out, so it doesn't feel like it's like da 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 da, like it doesn't feel like it's gonna rush and tumble away. If you add a little bit of length to the first note, it keeps it from getting out of control generally. What I was doing was actually overcompensating for that. So you could hear in my video from yesterday, I think I was going something like dia da da dia da da, like I was going a little bit too much in that direction. So now my goal is to make it even. Oh my gosh, I'm having some trouble with this. I'm going to turn my metronome lower. Oh my gosh, I'm having so much trouble putting this whole thing together. I'm gonna go ahead to number 5 and then maybe come back to 4 later. This one has a lot of leaps in it, so I'm going to make the tempo slower to the slowest one it offers, which is 64. One more time at the last measure. I knew I could do that more clearly. I think just doing something different for a second helps. You know, when you're working on something and you just get stuck, it's nice to walk away and just do something else, fill in another gap somewhere, and then come back to it later. Yeah, I stopped in the middle to take a breath. That's just generally what you do in these kinds of exercises. You can try to play it all in one breath if you have the tempo up fast enough, but that's not where I was. Isn't the human body amazing? I just worked on that forever and it couldn't get it right, and then all I had to do was not even put it to bed, put it on the couch for a 5-second nap while I worked on something else that was of a very similar nature, and then go back to it, and it was all fine. Tomorrow I think my plan will be to work on number 6 of the C major part, but then also start working on F major. They gave like 16 exercises for C major. You're like, okay, I get it, C is important. But all the other keys are important too, and in fact, they need way more practice than C major needs, really. So whatever instrument you play, there is a ton of music out there, and even if you're not a vocalist or a piano player, you can read out of a songbook. Especially if your instrument is in treble clef, because pretty much any melody is going to be the top line of whatever it is. I'm going to just practice some show tunes. I got this book at a thrift store. If you go to a thrift store, or especially a used bookstore, you will probably find a shelf or two of old songbooks. And they're really, really useful. So I just pick them up whenever I see them, because it's like, look at all these songs I could play. As a songwriter, they also usually have the chords written in, so it's just nice to see what chords other songs use. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a melody that I don't know and sight read it. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the first song and then the last song, and then I'm going to play the second song and the second last song. Do it like that. Work in words. And isn't it nice to hear this lovely, lovely, most beautiful instrument in the world play? So this is What I Did for Love from a chorus line. Like I said, I'm going to be sight reading a lot. I'm going to be working out of Arban's a lot. I'm going to be just giving you some tricks about how I practice and some new ideas maybe. Let me know in the comments if there's anything in particular with this kind of thing with practicing that you would like to see, because I am happy to show you what I think and what I know. Until next time, stay mindful, stay musical, and stay out of trouble.